So take your pencil, put it on the dart end, which is your pivot point, and then move. Once we hit that mark, we're going to finish tracing out the rest of our board, the rest of our block. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how we moved our dart from this to this and to this. So basically, I want to show you how we're going to achieve these two styles or these two designs. And we're going to do that through dart manipulation. Let's begin. So we have two different methods of manipulating our darts. You can either use the pivoting method or the slash and spread method. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to do both. So the first design shows that our dart, we moved our dart to the side seam. We're going to be working with our quarter scale sketch block. Okay, so I have my sketch block here. And what I've done is that I marked half an inch. So I marked half an inch from this. I marked it down here. So you can see that dot here. So is this dot is this mark that we're going to be using to pivot our dart. So let's start. Let's begin. The first thing we're going to do is that I'm going to trace out my dart like this. So I'm going to trace out, sorry, not my dart. I'm going to trace out my sketch block. Starting from this mark here, the mark I made like this, I'll transfer it to my paper and then I'll trace out my sketch block round up to this first dart leg. Okay, so let's do that. Not that leg, sorry, the dart opening. Now I'm done tracing out. And make sure you transfer your your hip notch as well. Next thing is that you take your pencil and bring it to the dart end here, and then you hold it. So we're holding it. This is our pivot point. This is our pivot point. And by the way, I don't think I mentioned, but this is the pivoting method we're doing. So you take your pencil, put it on the dart end point, and then you pivot. So we're going to be closing up our dart. So I'm moving this dart to overlap this dart. Let me show that again. So I want to move this dart to overlap this dart. And in doing that, I'm going to be transferring this dart to the side seam. So let's do that. I keep saying that. Okay, so we're going to pivot. And then close back to the... So that's closed. And then I'll just draw out the rest of my sketch block like this. And then transfer that mark again. And we've transferred our dart from this to that. So we've moved our dart to this, from this point to the side seam. And so to draw out our dart, we just do like this. This is our pivot point over here. So we just extend like this, like that. So there you have it. This is the pivoting method. The next method is the slash and spread method. So this method, we're going to trace out the entire sketch block all at once. So I'm going to trace out my sketch block, transfer our sketch block, transfer this mark we made as well. And so what we're going to do next is I'm going to join that mark to the dart end. And then next thing is that you take your tracing paper, take your tracing paper and trace out just this tiny portion here. So I'm going to trace that out. After doing that, I'm going to cut it out. I'm going to cut what I just traced out quickly. We're done cutting out our piece. What we're going to do next is that I'm going to place it back on my paper. Then I'll take my pencil, similar to what we did on this side. Take my pencil. This is our pivot point here. I'll hold it. Make sure I'm holding the paper with my pencil. And basically we just want to close up. What we want to do is that we want to close up so that our dart transfers to the side. So I'm going to hold it with my pencil and then move it, close it. So once that is done, I'm going to tape that down, tape it down so it doesn't move. Tape it down. And so we've moved our dart to the side seam using the slash and spread method. We don't really need to draw out the dart legs like we did on the pivot method, because this is quite obvious, but I can draw it out for you to see. And yeah, so this is a slash and spread. This is pivoting. Okay, so we finished. We're done with the first design. We'll move over to the second design. So this is our second design, right? This second design shows that we are moving our dart to the center front. And from what you can see that we came down by about half an inch down, half an inch. And then that's how we, that was what we used to transfer our dart. So similar to what we did when we did the side, I'm going to be showing you the pivoting and the slash and spread method. First thing first is that you mark half an inch down and mark it on your block. Already did that. And then we're going to be tracing from this mark all the way around to this dart opening here. Let's do that. So I've traced it, transferred my mark. Next thing we're going to do is take your pencil, put it on your dart end, which is our pivot point, and we're going to be closing from this dart to this dart. So closing from the dart closer to the dart opening, closer to the center front, coming to the dart on the side front. I hope you understand. So take your pencil, put it on the dart end, which is your pivot point, and then move. Once we hit that mark, we're going to finish tracing out the rest of our board, the rest of our block. Then come into this and then transfer your mark again. Okay, so that's how to pivot. That's how to use the pivoting method to transfer the dart to the center front. I'm just drawing out our dart legs, and that is our pivoting method. Okay, let me show you the slash and spread method. Same thing we did with the first design. Trace out all the entire skirt block, transfer the line as well. Okay, next thing we're going to do is similar to what we did. Join the dart end to the mark, trace out with your tracing paper. So you can use the pivoting method if you do not have a tracing paper. I'm showing you both methods to give you options. So similar to what we did with the other design, place it like this, use your pencil, put it on the pivot point here, and then close it like this, tape down so it doesn't move. And I'm using an invisible tape, by the way. Okay, and this is our dart transferred to the center front. So if you want to make any fancy design, sometimes it's good to have those to have something different. To have something different, you can definitely try and use this dart manipulation method. So that's how to move your dart from wherever it is to the center front or to your side seam. If you still want to move the dart to other positions, if you want to move it to other positions, for example, if you want the dart to go further, like maybe to where the hip notch is or closer to where the hip notch is, you just come like this. If you are using the slash and spread method, or yeah, just mark out where you want the dart to come to, and then use the pivoting method. So you can play around with what you want, play around with it, practice it, come up with different designs, crazy designs, and just go crazy. Fashion is supposed to be fun. You can make fashion what you want it to be. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you in my other videos. Happy sewing.